Proper care and maintenance of the M1 carbine requires some general disassembly referred to as a field strip. This includes removal of the sling and oiler, magazine, handguard, stock assembly, operating slide spring and guide rod, guard assembling pin, trigger group assembly, operating slide, bolt assembly, and barrel and receiver assembly. This can be accomplished with only a carbine cartridge. Ensuring the carbine is unloaded and safe is the first step to any disassembly or maintenance. Hold the carbine muzzle to the front, between the right side of the body and right forearm. Hold the magazine with the left hand. With the index finger of the right hand, press the magazine lock from the right side to the left and withdraw the magazine downward out of the receiver. Do not let the magazine drop to the ground. Pull the operating slide handle to the rear and lock it open. Inspect that the chamber is clear and the carbine is unloaded. Pull the operating slide back and release it, closing the bolt. Leave the hammer in the cocked position. The sling and oiler is to be removed first. Unsnap and remove the sling from the upper sling swivel. Remove the oiler and attached sling from the recess in the butt of the stock. Place the carbine on a level surface, resting the muzzle so that the head of the upper band screw is up and to the left. Using the rim of a carbine cartridge, loosen the upper band screw about 1/8 of an inch. Depress the upper band retaining spring with the base of the cartridge and slide the upper band over the retaining spring and off the stock. Slide the handguard forward until the rear end is disengaged from the groove in the front end of the receiver, and remove the handguard from the barrel. If equipped with the crossbolt safety, push the safety to the left. Grasp the small of the stock with the right hand and the barrel with the left hand, palm up. Raise the muzzle end of the barrel from the stock until the receiver is released from the stock abutment. Remove the stock from the barrel, trigger group assembly, and receiver. Place the barrel and attached assemblies on a level surface, muzzle to the left, operating slide handle up. Grasp the operating spring guide rod between the thumb and forefinger of the right hand and pull the rod to the rear, disengaging it from the seat in the operating slide. Raise the rod slightly and withdraw the operating spring to the left from its well in the receiver. Then separate the spring from its guide rod. Turn the barrel so that the operating slide handle is down. Punch the guard assembling pin from its seat by starting it with the small end of the operating spring guide rod. Pull out the pin from the far side. Grasp the barrel with one hand and the trigger group assembly with the other hand. The trigger group assembly may now be removed by sliding it to the rear and disengaging its undercut grooves from the corresponding grooves in the receiver. Rest the barrel on a level surface, muzzle to the front. Hold the front end of the receiver with the left hand, thumb resting on top of the left side of the operating slide. Grasp the operating slide handle with the thumb and forefinger of the right hand and draw the slide slowly to the rear until the lug on the inner side of the rear end of the slide is opposite the operating slide dismounting notch in the operating groove of the receiver. Pull the operating handle to the right and up and disengage the rear end of the slide from the operating lug on the bolt. The slide may now be removed from the barrel by a downward pressure of the left thumb on the left side of the slide, thus disengaging the lug on the slide from the left guiding groove in the underside of the barrel. Grasp the operating lug on the bolt between the thumb and forefinger of the right hand and move the bolt so that its front end is just in rear of the locking recess in the receiver. Raise the front end of the bolt about 1 inch. Rotate the bolt slightly to the right so that the tail of the firing pin is opposite its notch in the bottom of the receiver, and lift the bolt from the receiver. With the carbine field stripped, it can be properly cleaned and then reassembled. Further disassembly is covered in a separate training film. The carbine and its component groups are assembled in the reverse order of their disassembly. Grasp the operating lug of the bolt between the thumb and forefinger of the right hand. Hold the bolt so that the tail of the firing pin is opposite its notch in the receiver. Then lower the bolt into position. Grasp the forward end of the slide in the right hand, palm up. Engage the operating lug of the bolt in the operating cam groove of the slide. Raise the forward end of the slide so that the dismounting lug on its left side is opposite the notch in the left groove on the underside of the barrel. Then, by slightly twisting the slide to the right, engage the operating lugs of the slide in the operating grooves of the barrel. Move the slide and bolt to the rear until the operating slide lug is seated in its groove in the receiver. Close the bolt. Place the barrel and receiver on its left side, muzzle to the left. Replace the trigger group assembly by engaging its undercut grooves with the corresponding grooves in the receiver. Replace the guard assembling pin. Insert the small end of the guide rod in the loosely coiled end of the spring. Insert the closely coiled end of the spring into the well in the receiver. Steady the barrel with the left hand, and with the thumb and forefinger of the right hand on the shoulder of the guide rod, compress the spring so that the end of the guide rod may be inserted in its seat in the slide. If equipped with a crossbolt safety, make certain the safety is to the left. Replace the barrel and assembled groups in the stock, hooking the lug on the rear of the receiver in the recoil plate on the stock. Replace the handguard, ensuring the metal retaining clip slides under the lip in the front of the receiver. Slide the upper band down over the end of the handguard and stock until it is engaged by the upper band retaining spring. Tighten the upper band screw until hand tight. The ends of the upper band should not touch. Insert the lower loop of the sling through the stock. Then insert the oiler into the lower loop of the sling. Replace the oiler in its recess in the stock. Attach the upper end of the sling to the upper sling swivel. To function check the carbine, with the forefinger of the right hand, pull the operating slide smartly all the way back and release it. The bolt should close. With the carbine on safe, pull the trigger. The hammer should not be released. place the carbine on fire and pull the trigger. The hammer should be released and an audible click will be heard. The next film in the series will cover loading and unloading. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting or helpful, go ahead and give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Then leave us a comment and let us know what you thought or would like to see. If you would like to support the channel, a link to our Patreon page is in the description. For more information on this firearm and others, head on over to historyandfirearms.com.